Good afternoon, family. I'm an ag named Bob, and I'm truly grateful for this process and recovery. Give me a second to let the God of my understanding in so Bob don't get out. Once again, I'm an ag named Bob, and I'm truly grateful for this process. And when I say don't let Bob out, I mean my ego, my personal feelings, and all that other nonsense don't kick in. And I have y'all jumping over gates with my personal feelings and everything else. So that is not my intent. My intent is just share the message of hope so that anyone can, you know, pretty much receive this message and not go through what I've been through in life, which was a hard, long road for absolutely no reason whatsoever. Because I sit here, wondering why did I do all that, But that's another story for another time. But on a stronger note, I'm just looking at, the streets, like when I was out in the streets and I was selling drugs and I was getting money, and, you know, chasing paper and all that. And for what? I mean, like, really, like, what did I do all that for? Got all that money, the millions of dollars, and did what with it? Nothing. It was, and at the end of the day, it was all for show. As far as the game go, the drug game, it's always going to be there. The only thing that changes on every block in New York City is the faces. The game is always the same. It just the faces change and the rules change. It's always gonna be there, and it's crazy. And I ain't knocking nobody, cause I psyched myself up to believe that I was trying to take care of my family too, but it was a lie. I also told myself, uh, somebody got to sell it to them. I'm going to sell it to them. Meanwhile, I'm selling to my best friend, so to speak, and not my best friend, but, I've said on occasions to different people that I knew that I sold to, they're going to get it from somebody. Yeah, it shouldn't have been me. That's a fact, But another thing, this rap situation going on. Again, the rap game keep changing. And the faces is the only thing that changes. The raps change, the rappers change. But the game is the same, no matter what. But here's something on a little deeper level. The people that all these people getting signing these contracts and giving you this money, and you getting this money, and you selling your soul to your people, deceiving my children. And this ain't everybody. I'm just speaking to who it applies to, because some people done lived that life, but a lot of you did not live that life. And I can just hear the rap and hear it in your voice to know whether you was watching or it was your life. Guaranteed. I know that for a fact. And some of it is wonderful, and some of it deceives me to believe that that was my greatest victory in life during some of those songs in my life. And I immediately want to go back and give selling drugs a try. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's crazy as it sounds. That's a fact. But how did, what that guy's name is, Zip, Drip, whatever. He said, let's get to that, something. Well, let's get to this. Let's get to this. The only thing that doesn't change is the man behind giving everybody the money. That corporation does not change. you get on here fighting and selling your soul for some money, deceiving my children, because that's who you deceiving, our children, to believe that you was living that life and that's the only way to get some money. Some of you, and some of you are teaching to own your masters and do all these things that, thank God for the internet because, it is allowing, opportunities that some people that got in position are knocking other people not to get in. After it didn't happen to them, they doing it to somebody else. Yeah, I'm confused. I look at it like this. Why would I knock somebody for trying to get some money and not help them? So one day, if I get into a jam, maybe they can help me out. I'm confused. You getting on MTV Raps and MTV Cribs, whatever the hell is out now, and you showing this lavish lifestyle, and ain't none of it paid for, maybe. Which business-wise, it wouldn't make sense to pay for it. It would mean to charge it as a write-off to the business. Yeah, I know those things too, and so it wouldn't make sense to pay cash for a lot of stuff. But you're portraying a life to everyone that you're doing way better than what you're doing. Because I know in hell, some of that stuff is going to run out. It ain't no different than being in a crack house sitting there getting high. You can have 100 million niggas sitting there at the table. And you ain't going out and getting that money or ain't nobody buying your stuff. It's going to stop. When it stops, all hell gonna break loose. Most of the time, a lot of people with a whole lot of money, they jump out the window and kill themselves, and we don't need that happening neither. You understand what I'm saying? We need to bring this awareness, man, because we don't own anything. Black people, as a black folk, man, I'm ashamed of the life I lived. I could have helped so many people other ways. Because every step of the way I helped. Getting high, selling drugs, on my job. I would help the old ladies do their windows. And, of course, they would pay me sometime. And sometimes if they ain't had no money, I'd do it for free. When I was selling drugs, I'd pay for all the kids. Some of the kids, Day from the projects. Gary with the, Roz and I at 72, they tell you. I paid for all the basketball teams for us to go play ball sometime. I invested in my community, And then when I was on that ground with some people, I was doing those nasty things with using drugs. I supported everybody. And then when it was my turn to need support, I couldn't get none. When I was sick and needed a man, who helped me. The people who everybody say shouldn't have gave me nothing. I'm so grateful to you for giving me something. But yes, once you started out giving it to me, yes, you should. Yeah, I'm glad you continue, because if you would have stopped, and I could have died of an overdose or whatever the case may be, and those who didn't pick and choose, thank you, thank you, thank you. I owe you a great debt to you, and I'm working towards being able to reach back and bring people in and give you another choice as opposed to telling you don't do what you're doing. I'm an ag named Bob, and I'm truly grateful for this process. But the real deal is Russell Simmons, and for the most part that I'm familiar with, started everything and opened the door for every avenue for people to get. But yet and still, every chance we get, we licking at each other, with raps and trying to degrade the next man because of his shine. No grind, no shine. Man, that's what my sons used to tell me. No grind, no shine. If you ain't doing what you got to do to get no bread, why should you get it? You ain't got to use another man and step on his neck to get nowhere, man. Just do you, man, because the raps, they are what they are. You know, the lifestyle is what it is. You're going to always have something to rap about, and you're going to always have a customer to come by to, you know. I'm so grateful to the fact that I'm at thousands of views, and I ain't received a check yet. And I'm all right with that for now, because ain't nobody pimping me neither, you know. But check this out. Listen, at the end of the day, I just want to keep being a servant of God. And I can listen to my rap. I just ain't got to act like it. And my children are not going to act like it neither. And, you know, to the best of my ability, I can help them not see that it's all right to listen to rap. It's a beautiful thing. I love the metaphors and the hooks and putting everything together. Whereas that, you know, you singing about the life, man. Tupac was one of the best that ever did it. I didn't realize how deep that brother was. Very deep. Jay-Z, you know, you stand amongst them, you know, I mean, and that's right, you know, I'm going through the same thing, everybody, you know, everybody running around here going crazy about, I don't know, just, it's just bad, man. It is real bad. The times we are in are bad. Like, I'm just confused, man, with Puffy's situation, you know. He know what he did. I don't know what he did, and I really don't care. But I would hope that wouldn't be my daughter he put his hand on, because he couldn't be, because she wouldn't be there, first of all. But on a stronger note, she gets on his hand and tell everybody. From what I've seen of them parties, there was thousands of people there. She couldn't come up with nobody else that was there. Like, I'm lost. I'm just lost. You know, yeah, like could be a witness for her other than the tape. You know, because that's what the DA do too. You know, they do bring in other witnesses, like they're bringing now, to depict what they want you to believe. But man, listen, we have to stop letting people give us whatever they want to give us. Because I don't know if the man is, I know two things you might be guilty of, but that's not mine to go. Because I ain't stepping on a man when they down. You know, if you ain't lifting your fingers up to help them up, that's what my father taught me. Don't say a word, because it ain't none of your business. Unless, you seen a wrong. Because injustice anywhere, as Martin Luther King said, is an injustice everywhere. Because you don't want to go out for ratings, and, you don't want your name associated because people might not buy your movies, and all this old nonsense. That's crazy. That is nonsense. A man's life is at stake on any level, on any situation. Man, look at what's going on in the world right now. All because y'all know why, because I'm not going to say it, but y'all know why. But nobody is woman or man enough. Well, somebody is. Some people are willing to stand up and say, this is wrong. This is wrong. This should not be happening. But again, any man or woman that stands for nothing will fall for anything. Politicians, they don't want to lose your votes. So if you with that, they ain't gonna say nothing. You know what I mean? And if you, so that's what's going on. They scared to lose the vote for that next election coming up because you didn't support that situation. And it's sad because we dying out here. We dying. Our children, our family, everybody. We suffering as a result of these bad decisions we keep allowing people to make representing us. I'm an ag named Bob, and I'm truly grateful for this process.